Thank you. Have a good day.
You too, thank you. Good evening and welcome. It's good to be back here at the White House after 1 week of recuperating at home. So it's good to see all of you. And we begin today's news with the breaking news. President Biden, the White House announced today that President Biden will travel to Angola during the first week of December, as we reported earlier on. The president was supposed to be in Angola over the weekend, this past weekend, but the trip was postponed due to the trip double Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton that devastated the southeast region of and the Gulf Coast of the U.S. So the White House, as I mentioned, announced that the president will travel to Angola during the first week of December, and we will be providing additional updates regarding his travel. And the president tomorrow will travel to Germany. As again, that was another trip that was postponed. So he will travel to Germany tomorrow, and he will meet with the Chancellor as well as the president of Germany, and he will return to the White House on Friday. We are not traveling, but we will be following that trip, and we will bring you any information. As we know, Germany is part of the G7 alliance, and also have relationship with partnership across the African continent. President William Ruto of Kenya recently was in Germany, as well as the president of Nigeria, President Tinubu, and there are several partnerships, ongoing partnership between the two countries as well as other African nations. So we will be following the trip if there's any announcement relating to Africa, and we will provide that announcement. And speaking of traveling, the President and the CEO of Millennium Challenge Corporation, Alice Albright, is in Zambia, is on a trip to Zambia, and traveling across the region regarding the investment that the U.S. government has made in the country. As we know, Vice President Kamala Harris, during a trip to Zambia last year, also announced significant investment in climate resilient system in the country, and the announcement as well as food security, agriculture. As we know, we also reported on this that Zambia recently experienced flood as well as drought as a result of the climate crisis that we're seeing across the world, significantly affecting African region. So the Ms. Albright, Alice Albright, is on the ground visiting, engaging with stakeholders across the country in Zambia. And speaking of food security and U.S. investment, today is World Food Day across the world, marking the anniversary or marking the significance of this day as the world continues to work to reduce hunger as well as improve food security, food resilience, adaptation. The U.S. government has invest significantly in providing food security, not just for the U.S. as well as across the continent. We will, at the end of this, we will one of our archive. We spoke with a Moroccan-born chief, former FAO chief science. She's now the executive managing director of the SICA, an organization, a bio science organization that work on improving food security across the world. And you will see that interview, part of that interview, and we will also provide a link to the full interview at the end of this news report today. And moving to other story that we are focusing on, and we're still staying in Africa. As I mentioned, today is World Food Day. The U.S. We mentioned this last month. Announced a new Feed the Future Accelerator program initiative that the U.S. government launched, and the government has invested through the Millennium Challenge Corporation has invested over $1.6 billion in Zambia, in Malawi, in Mozambique, as well as in Lesotho. Again, it's also part of several initiatives that the governments have launched in the past 2 years to improve the food security on the continent, including food adapting climate resilient seed that are planted across the continent. So we continue some of that story. We have reported on it and we've published it, and we will bring you additional more information regarding that. Another story that we are focusing on today is on Saturday, the president of South Africa, President Cyril Ramaphosa, announced that former South Africa Reserve Bank chief Tito Mobewe passed away. He was the first black person to serve in that role, and he was appointed by President Nelson Mandela as the first Minister of Labour, and was credited with improving labor unions across South Africa. The minister said that he left behind a legacy that continued to inspire people, and we continue to inspire people for generations to come. Another story that we are following, I'm beginning to lose my voice. Another story that we are following is the managing director of operation of the World Bank, Anna Bejet, traveled to Democratic Republic of Congo for a visit, and we get additional more information on that. We just find out that as we are preparing to come online live, so we will get additional more update and we will provide that to you later on. Ford Foundation President Dara Walker announced that he announced last month that he will be stepping away from the Ford Foundation at the end of this year. And yesterday he announced that he was elected as president of the National Art Gallery in Washington, D.C. The National Art Gallery is the nation's premier art gallery that is based in Washington, D.C. So we say congratulations to him as well. And regarding an update on the mpox, on the mpox virus disease in Rwanda. The Rwanda government continues to work with stakeholders, including the CDC and the African CDC, the U.S. government, as well as other stakeholders to address this ongoing disease. The World Health Organization African region is on the ground as well, working with them. And recently they started the first clinical trial from the MVD treatment using a drug that was used to treat that was used during the COVID-19 pandemic to treat COVID-19. Remdesivir is being used right now to test the efficacy of that drug to treat MVD disease. And lastly, this is another news. Idris Elba will produce and star in a TV series adaptation of Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart book. So this wrap up before I go, we have an interview, as I mentioned at the top, that President Biden will be traveling to Angola, and we mentioned that we will be doing a countdown. Where we will be some of that interview that we've already done. One interview that we are linking to today is for someone from Burkina Faso that visited the U.S., Washington, D.C. for the first time, talking about, we asked him what his thoughts regarding President Biden's visit to Africa. And this is what he has to say. You are here as on visit, on vacation to the U.S. and you're from where?
Je dis que tu es pour la visite, tu es pour quel pays quoi? Tu es venu de quel pays? From Burkina Faso.
And Chad.
And Chad.
Okay, so you are by Africa.
Yeah, by Africa.
A dual citizen.
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to ask you, we're standing in front of the White House. First of all, are you disappointed that you're not able to get closer to the White House?
Elle dit, hein, comme tu es arrivé, tu voulais t'approcher du White House, mais là tu es bloqué. Est-ce que tu es un peu fâché ou bien
No.
un peu comment quoi?
No, I'm very happy because I'm in here. It is my dream, but it's not a problem for me. No.
It's close enough for you. This is your dream to see the White House.
Right.
So your dream came true.
Yeah.
I mean, this barricade is up because they're preparing for the inauguration
Correct.
of the we have the upcoming election. President Biden is traveling to Africa this month. It's first time going to the African continent as the president of the U.S. It's also the first time that in over 10 years that a U.S. head of state will visit Africa. Talk to me about your view on the U.S.-African relation and what the U.S. has done under the Biden-Harris administration. We know the vice president traveled to Africa last year. The First Lady has been to Africa. Secretary Blinken, as well as other officials.
Right.
African youth are very engaged and interested in the U.S. So share with me, this is your dream place to visit right in front of the White House.
Yeah. Bon, elle dit hein, que ça fait plus de 10 ans que le président Biden est là. C'est pour la première fois qu'il va aller en Afrique. Donc, comment toi tu trouves ça? Comment tu partages ton point de vue par rapport à la jeunesse qui est vraiment engagée en Afrique avec tout ce qui se passe autour quoi? Comment tu donnes ton avis quoi?
Donc, je pense que les États-Unis ont toujours eu beaucoup speak up. Okay. Moi, je pense que les États-Unis ont toujours eu un regard sur l'Afrique. Et l'Afrique a toujours été un centre d'intérêt pour les États-Unis. Donc, s'il vient là-bas, c'est une bonne chose parce que c'est des bonnes coopérations. Donc, c'est une bonne chose. Ouais, c'est parce que beaucoup d'Africains rêvent de venir aux États-Unis, de découvrir les États-Unis parce que c'est un exemple. C'est un exemple. Donc, ça veut dire que les États-Unis, c'est une bonne coopération.
You got it? Okay, so he said that it's something like good for Biden to come to Africa because with all those young people growing, yeah. So it's a good cooperation, like to see Biden come to Africa, even at the last minute, but still like it's still good.
It's a good example.
Yes.
For African leaders to see. And regarding your country, what, in terms of the relationship between the U.S., what would you like the U.S. to do more?
Okay, got it. Elle dit par rapport à la relation entre le Burkina et les États-Unis,
both the trade, economic, and the diplomatic tie.
Bon, actuellement, au Burkina, notre problème, c'est le terrorisme. Il y a beaucoup de terrorisme au Burkina. On voit que les États-Unis soutiennent beaucoup l'Ukraine, mais ce serait bien aussi que les États-Unis soutiennent aussi l'Afrique contre le terrorisme, parce que le terrorisme monte en puissance en Afrique. Donc si les États-Unis peuvent apporter leur soutien pour que le Burkina aussi puisse lutter contre le terrorisme de la même manière qu'ils font en Ukraine, c'est une bonne chose.
Wow. So he said right now the more thing that like his country need is to for United States to come to fight like terrorism, like the fighting in Ukraine. So like right now it's not like fair. They in Burkina Faso, but they don't put themselves to fight terrorism like they're fighting in other countries. So if United States come to give help to fight terrorism, that's gonna be great for like our generation.
Well, but you also have some African leaders as well as African in general that are saying, you know, they want everything to be African-led. They don't want other nations involved. So,
Ok, so elle dit hein, que les leaders africains actuellement, comme l'AES par exemple, ils ne veulent pas que les étrangers viennent chez eux. Bon, les colons, si on peut mettre entre guillemets. Et elle dit, qu'est-ce que toi tu penses de ça quoi?
Moi, je pense que c'est juste une coopération d'égal à égal que les leaders africains veulent. Ils ne veulent pas une domination. Ils ne veulent pas de domination. Ils veulent égal, equality. Hein? Pas de domination. Sinon, ils n'ont pas de problème. Ils n'ont pas de problème avec les États-Unis, pas de problème avec elles. Mais si c'est une relation égale, equality, no problem. Mais si c'est domination, non.
So he said, like we need cooperation, but we need like equality, like
partnership.
Yes, like partnership that you can benefit from US and then the other country. But if one comes just to steal and do this, it's not gonna be fair. Yes.
Well, thank you very much for talking with us, and we hope you enjoy your vacation in the US, your dream vacation.
Thank you.
And this wrap up our news and updates for today, October 16. As I said, it's good to be back. I'm feeling a lot better. My voice is coming back to normal. So I hope to see you guys again soon, tomorrow. Have a good evening. Thank you for watching. I'm Kemi Oshukoya. Good night.